The bright lights of the Lunar Research Station cast long shadows across the moon's dusty surface. Dr. Han Su stood at the window of his laboratory, staring at the beautiful blue marble of Earth hanging in the black sky. His work on gravity wave detection had kept him busy for the past 3 months, but he never got tired of this view. Time for the daily check, he said to himself, walking over to his main computer. The screen showed lines of data from his sensors scattered across the moon's dark side. Everything looked normal, just like any other day. But this wasn't going to be like any other day. The first warning came when his coffee cup started floating. Han Su grabbed it quickly, confused. The station's artificial gravity never failed. It was too important for their survival. He reached for the emergency button, but before he could press it, a deep rumble shook the whole station. Through the window, he saw something impossible. A massive ship, at least 10 times bigger than any spacecraft humans had built, appeared out of nowhere. Its surface looked like flowing metal, with strange purple lights pulsing along its side. "Control room, are you seeing this?" Han Su spoke into his communicator. Only static answered him. The ship came closer, and a bright beam of light shot out from its side. Han Su tried to run, but his legs wouldn't move. The beam had him frozen in place. His heart raced as he felt himself being lifted off the ground. "No, no, no," he said, watching helplessly as the station's walls seemed to melt away around him. The beam pulled him through space, straight toward the alien ship. He expected to feel cold or run out of air, but some kind of force field kept him breathing normally. Moments later, he found himself in a large round room with smooth purple-tinted walls. The air smelled strange, like metal and something sweet he couldn't name. His feet touched the floor gently, and he could move again. That's when he saw them, the aliens. They were tall and thin, with gray skin that seemed almost transparent. Their heads were large, with 4 black eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Long, delicate fingers moved across glowing panels as they worked at their stations. They moved slowly and carefully, like they were underwater. One of them approached Han Su. It wore something that looked like a silver vest with blinking lights. When it spoke, a small device on its vest translated its musical sounds into English. "Specimen captured successfully. Gravity tolerance testing will begin shortly." The alien's voice through the translator sounded flat and emotionless. "I am not a specimen," Han Su said firmly, surprised by how steady his voice was despite his fear. "I am Dr. Han Su, a scientist from Earth, and I demand to know why you've taken me." The alien tilted its head, all 4 eyes blinking at different times. "The specimen shows higher intelligence than expected. Note this in the records." Han Su felt anger rising in his chest. These creatures were talking about him like he was some kind of lab rat. He tried to step forward, but invisible forces held him in place. "Interesting," another alien said, looking at a floating screen. "The specimen's bone and muscle density are far beyond normal parameters. Its homeworld's gravity must be extreme." Han Su remembered his basic self-defense training. The station required all scientists to learn it before going to the moon. He kept his face calm but paid close attention to everything around him. The gravity here felt wrong, too light, like being in the moon's exercise room when the artificial gravity was turned down. "Transported to containment level 3, the first alien ordered. Full analysis will begin after rest period." As 2 more aliens approached with some kind of floating platform, Han Su noticed something important. Despite their height, the aliens moved carefully, almost fragilely. Their thin bodies looked weak compared to his. A plan started forming in his mind. These aliens might have advanced technology, but they had made a big mistake. They didn't understand what it meant to come from Earth, to be shaped by its gravity and struggles. They saw him as a specimen, but he was much more than that. He was a human, and humans don't give up easily. The floating platform carried him down long purple corridors. Han Su stayed quiet, watching and learning. He would find a way out, But first, he needed to understand more about his captors and their ship. After all, that's what scientists do. They observe, learn, and then act. And when he did act, these aliens would learn why taking the human was their biggest mistake. The cell they put Han Su in was strange. Instead of bars or walls, it had some kind of shimmering force field. The purple-tinted energy barrier hummed softly. The space was small, about 3 meters square, with a flat platform that seemed to be a bed. He had been there for what felt like hours when he heard footsteps. Not the light, careful steps of the aliens, but stronger ones. Human footsteps. A woman in a torn Korean Air Force flight suit appeared in the cell next to his. Her short black hair was messy, but her eyes were sharp and alert. She looked at him with surprise. "Another human," she said in Korean. "I'm Jin-A. They grabbed me during a test flight 2 weeks ago." "Dr. Han Su," he replied, relieved to hear his native language. "They took me from the Lunar Research Station today. Have you learned anything about them?" Jin-A nodded. "They're called the Krell. They think they're better than everyone else because of their technology. But they're weak." She tapped the force field lightly. "This barrier is set to their strength level. They don't know how strong Earth gravity made us." Han Su understood immediately. The Krell had evolved on a low-gravity world. That's why they moved so carefully. To them, Earth would be a death trap. "The ship's artificial gravity is set to their normal," Jin-A continued. "About 1/3 of Earth's. That's why everything feels so light." Han Su stood up, feeling the strange lightness in his body. "Have you tried breaking out?" "Not yet. Been waiting for the right moment." Jin-A grinned. "Having a scientist around might help. I know how to fight, but I don't understand their technology." Their conversation stopped as 2 Krell approached. They carried what looked like food trays. One Krell deactivated Jin-A's barrier, while the other did the same for Han Su's cell. "Nutrition delivery," the translator on their vests said. "Remain still." Han Su and Jin-A shared a quick look. Without words, they both knew. This was their chance. The Krell set down the trays and turned to leave. That's when Jin-A moved. In the low gravity, she jumped higher than any Krell could expect. Her foot caught one alien in what seemed to be its neck. The creature fell, moving in slow motion compared to her. Han Su didn't waste time. He rushed forward, surprising the second Krell with his speed. The alien tried to press something on its vest, but Han Su grabbed its thin arm. He barely used any strength, but the Krell's arm broke like a dry twig. "Their bones are like birds," Jin-A said, taking the first Krell's translator vest. "They've never dealt with Earth-level gravity." Han Su took the other vest. "We need to move fast. They'll notice something's wrong soon." They ran down the purple-lit corridor, moving easily in the low gravity. Jin-A led the way, having memorized some of the ship's layout during her captivity. They passed more cells, most containing strange creatures neither of them had ever seen. "Wait," Han Su said, stopping at a control panel. "Let me try something." He studied the alien symbols, noticing patterns similar to mathematical equations. After a few attempts, he pressed a sequence of buttons. All the cell barriers in their section disappeared. "Nice work," Jin-A said, as confused aliens of various shapes and sizes stepped out of their cells. "But won't this alert the Krell?" "They're already alerted." Han Su pointed to a flashing red light above them. "But now they'll have more to deal with than just us." Alarms started blaring, their musical tones almost beautiful despite the danger they represented. Jin-A grabbed Han Su's arm and pulled him toward a side passage. "This way," she said. "I saw them using these maintenance tunnels. They're smaller than the main corridors, harder for them to follow us." They crawled into a narrow tunnel, the low gravity making it easy to move quickly. Behind them, they could hear chaos erupting as hundreds of captive aliens escaped their cells. "Engineering section is our best bet," Han Su said as they crawled. "If we can understand their systems, maybe we can take control of the ship." Jin-A looked back at him with a determined smile. A soldier and a scientist. We might actually have a chance. As they moved deeper into the ship's maintenance system, both knew this was just the beginning. They had escaped their cells, but they were still trapped on an alien ship far from home. But for the first time since being captured, they had hope. And sometimes, hope is the most dangerous weapon of all. The maintenance tunnel seemed to go on forever. Han Su and Jin-A crawled through the narrow space, following the soft purple lights that lined the walls. The ship's weak gravity made moving easy, but the constant alarms made it hard to think. "Stop," Jin-A whispered. Below them, through a metal grate, they could see several Krell running past. Their long, thin bodies moved awkwardly as they tried to hurry. "They look scared," Han Su said quietly. "They've never had prisoners escape before." A voice echoed through the ship's speakers, first in the musical Krell language, then translated to various other languages, including Korean. "Warning. Dangerous specimens have escaped. All collection staff must evacuate to safe zones immediately." Jin-A smiled. Dangerous specimens. They haven't seen dangerous yet. They reached a junction in the tunnels. Han Su pulled out the translator vest he'd taken and studied its screen. "If I'm reading this right, the engineering section should be down the left path." The tunnel sloped downward, leading them deeper into the ship. After several minutes of careful crawling, they found another grate. Below them was a large room filled with humming machines and glowing panels. "That's it," Han Su said. "The engineering control room. But I see 3 Krell inside." Jin-A looked through the grate. "In this gravity, I can take them. But we need to be fast. Once we're in, can you lock down the room?" Han Su nodded. "I think so. Their computer systems use mathematical patterns. They're complex, but they follow rules I understand." "Good. Ready?" Jin-A grabbed the grate's edges. 3, 2, 1. She pulled the grate free and dropped into the room. The Krell turned in surprise, their 4 eyes widening. Jin-A moved like a dancer in the low gravity, her military training making her strikes precise and powerful. Han Su followed her down, rushing to the nearest control panel. His fingers flew over the symbols as he heard the sound of Jin-A's quick work behind him. He didn't need to look. The short sounds of surprise from the Krell told him enough. "Done," Jin-A said after a few moments. "They're unconscious. I tried to be gentle, but their bodies are so fragile." "Got it." Han Su pressed a final sequence of buttons. Heavy doors slid shut around the room. "We're locked in. They'll need time to override it." They took a moment to catch their breath and look around the engineering room properly. The walls were covered in screens showing different parts of the ship. Strange machines pulsed with energy, and holographic displays floated in the air. "Can you figure out how their systems work?" Jin-A asked, checking the unconscious Krell for anything useful. Han Su was already studying a large central display. "This is amazing. Their technology is advanced, but it's all based on physics, I understand. Look at this." He pointed to a flowing diagram. "This is their gravity control system. They use it to help them survive on high-gravity worlds during their collecting missions. Can you use it against them?" "Better." Han Su smiled. "I can use it to help us. Watch this." He pressed several controls. The gravity in the room increased slightly. "I'm raising the gravity level in all corridors leading here to Earth normal. No Krell will be able to reach us easily." Jin-A laughed. "Perfect. Our own gravity defense system." Suddenly, one of the screens started flashing red. A new alarm, different from the escape warning, began to sound. "What's that?" Jin-A moved closer to look. Han Su's face turned serious as he read the alien symbols. "It's some kind of automated message. The ship, it's sending a signal to the Krell homeworld." He worked quickly to translate more. "They're calling for help. Telling them they've lost control of a collection vessel to 2 dangerous high-gravity specimens. How long until help arrives?" Based on these numbers, Han-Su calculated quickly. About 6 hours. Jin-A checked the doors again, then looked at the ship's layout on one of the screens. Then we have 6 hours to take complete control of this ship and figure out how to fly it. She smiled at Han-Su. Good thing we have a scientist who understands their technology. Han-Su turned back to the controls with determination, and a soldier who knows how to fight. He started working on decoding more of the ship's systems. We'll need both to survive what's coming. Outside their secured room, they could hear the chaos of escaped specimens mixing with the Krell's attempts to regain control. The real test was just beginning, and time was running out. Han-Su worked at the control panels while Jin-A watched the security screens. They had been in the engineering room for nearly an hour. The ship's corridors outside were in chaos as escaped aliens ran in every direction. Someone's trying to access this section's computer, Han-Su said, noticing new alerts on his screen. But they're not Krell. The access pattern is different. A message appeared on the main screen in simple English. Let me in. I can help. I'm human. Jin-A and Han-Su looked at each other. Could be a trick, Jin-A said. Wait. Han-Su typed back. Prove you're human. What's Earth's gravity in meters per second squared? The answer came quickly. 9.8 meters per second squared. I'm Kita from Seoul. Been here 6 months. More Krell ships coming. We need to hurry. Han-Su checked the security cameras near their location. In a small maintenance room, they saw a man in torn clothes working at a computer panel. He looked Korean, but thin and tired. Should we trust him? Han-Su asked. Jin-A studied the screens. We need help, and he knows the ship. Let him in. Han-Su opened a small side door. Kita ran in quickly, and they sealed the room again. He was shorter than Han-Su, with long hair and quick eyes that darted around the room. Thank goodness, Kita said in Korean. When I saw humans had escaped, I knew I had to help. He went straight to a control panel. The Krell have been taking specimens from different worlds for years. I was a computer engineer before they took me. What do you know about their plans? Jin-A asked, still watching him carefully. Kita's face turned dark. They think they're helping the galaxy. They find worlds they think are wrong and try to fix them. He typed something into the computer. Earth is on their list. They think its gravity is too high to be natural. Fix it. How? Han-Su asked, although he feared the answer. They have technology to change a planet's gravity. They've done it before. Kita showed them a star map. See these marks? All worlds they've corrected to their standard. Most life on those planets died in the process. Jin-A hit a wall with her fist, leaving a dent in the metal. We can't let that happen to Earth. That's why I've been studying their systems, Kita said. Look what I found. He pulled up new screens showing other ships. This isn't their only collection vessel. They have 5 more nearby. Han-Su looked at the data. The help they called isn't just coming to stop us. It's coming to start their plan for Earth, Kita finished. We have 5 hours before they arrive. Just then, they heard noises in the walls. Jin-A grabbed a piece of broken metal to use as a weapon. Something's in the maintenance tunnels. The noises got closer. Then a panel in the ceiling popped open. A strange creature looked down at them. It had 6 eyes and smooth blue skin that seemed to glow. Peace, it said through some kind of translator. I am real. My people are engineers. We can help. More aliens appeared behind Rill. Some had tentacles, others had multiple arms. All looked at the humans with hope. They kept the smartest specimens near the engineering section, Kita explained. Most of them are from worlds the Krell already changed. They want revenge. Han-Su thought quickly. They needed help to save Earth, and these aliens needed help to stop the Krell. He looked at Jin-A, who nodded. Okay, Han-Su said to Rill. Let's work together. We need to take control of this ship and stop their fleet. Can your people help us understand their technology better? Ril dropped down into the room gracefully. We have learned much watching them. Together, we can stop their plans. But first, you must know the full truth about the Krell. The alien pressed some buttons, bringing up new images on the screens. What they saw made them all gasp. The Krell's plans were bigger than they had imagined. Earth wasn't their only target. It was just the beginning. The screens showed hundreds of planets marked for correction by the Krell. Earth was just one of many worlds they planned to change. Each dot on the map represented billions of lives at risk. They're not just collectors, Ril said, its blue skin glowing dimly. They want to remake the galaxy to match their own world. They believe high gravity is unnatural and must be fixed. Han Su studied the Krell's plans while Jin-A and Kita worked with the other alien engineers. The engineering room had become crowded with different species, all working together. "Look at this," Han Su called out. "Their gravity-changing technology has a weakness. It needs perfect timing to work." He pointed to complex equations on the screen. "If we disrupt their fleet's coordination, we can stop them." Jin-A looked up from where she was learning about the ship's weapons from a tentacled alien. "How do we do that?" "The ship's communication system," Kita said. "If we can send out a signal that confuses their gravity sensors, their whole fleet will be blind." He turned to Ril. "Can your people help us change the communication arrays?" Ril nodded, its 6 eyes blinking in sequence. "Yes, but we must reach the main communication room. It's near the ship's bridge." "That's where most of the Krell are hiding," Jin-A said. She pulled up a security view of the bridge area. Dozens of Krell were gathered there, all wearing what looked like protective suits. "They're ready for us this time." Han Su smiled. "Maybe not. The Krell think they're smart, but they make mistakes. Big ones." He pointed to the life support controls. "Look, their protective suits are designed for high gravity, but they forgot something important." Kita's eyes widened as he understood. "Air pressure. If we increase the air pressure along with gravity, their suits will crack," Han Su finished. "We can force them out without a fight." They made their plan quickly. The alien engineers would help them reach the communication room through hidden maintenance paths. Jin-A would lead a group to protect them, while Han Su and Kita worked on the signal disruption. 3 hours until their fleet arrives, Ril reminded them. "We must hurry." They moved through the ship's tunnels, now in larger groups. The low gravity let them carry tools and equipment easily. Other escaped aliens joined them along the way, each bringing new skills and knowledge. When they reached the area near the bridge, Han Su put their plan into action. He carefully adjusted the life support systems, increasing both gravity and air pressure in the bridge section. Through the security cameras, they watched as the Krell's protective suits started to crack. The aliens panicked, running from the bridge area into other parts of the ship where the pressure was normal. "Now," Jin-A ordered. Their group rushed forward, taking control of the empty bridge section. The alien engineers immediately started working on the communication systems. Han Su and Kita sat at the main controls, their fingers flying over the panels. They had to create the perfect signal, one that would confuse the Krell fleet's gravity sensors without alerting them to the trap. "Something's wrong," Kita said suddenly. "The main computer is fighting back. It has some kind of protection system." Red lights started flashing throughout the ship. A voice spoke in the Krell language, then in English. "Emergency protocols activated. Ship self-destruct sequence initiated." "How long?" Jin-A asked, moving to guard the door. 20 minutes, Ril said, all 6 eyes focused on a countdown display. "The fleet will arrive in 2 hours." Han Su looked at the complex alien code running across his screen. "The Krell would rather destroy this ship than let us use it against them." He turned to the others. "But maybe that's not a bad thing." "What do you mean?" Kita asked. "If we can control the self-destruct, change it somehow." Han Su's fingers moved faster over the controls. "We might have just found our weapon against the fleet. The countdown continued as they raced to turn the Krell's final defense into their salvation. Outside the ship, the darkness of space waited silently, holding no clue to the battle that would soon light up the stars. Red warning lights flashed across every screen as Han Su worked to understand the ship's self-destruct system. Sweat ran down his face despite the cool air. Around him, aliens of different species watched nervously, while Kita helped with the computer systems. 15 minutes until self-destruct, the ship's computer announced calmly. "I think I see what they did," Han Su said, pointing to streams of code. "The Krell designed their ships to explode in a special way. It creates a gravity wave that destroys everything nearby." Jin-A looked up from where she was organizing their defenses. "Can you stop it?" "Better." Han Su smiled. "I can control it." The Krell made another mistake. They think the explosion has to be big, but that's wrong. He typed quickly. "If we make many small explosions instead of one big one, we can create a gravity pulse pattern." Kita finished, understanding the plan, like turning a bomb into a gravity wave transmitter. Rill moved closer, its blue skin glowing brighter with excitement. Yes, a focused gravity wave could disable their fleet's engines without destroying them. 10 minutes until self-destruct. Han Su and Kita worked faster, changing the ship's final command codes. The alien engineers helped, each adding their knowledge of how gravity worked on their home worlds. Suddenly, all the screens went black. "No," Han Su whispered. "No, no, no." New images appeared. They showed a beautiful blue-green planet that everyone recognized, Earth. But these weren't normal pictures. They were plans, detailed Krell studies of Earth's gravity field. "Look at these dates," Kita said, his voice shaking. "They'd been watching Earth for 100 years, testing it, learning about us." The images kept coming. Secret Krell bases hidden under Earth's oceans. Monitoring stations disguised as asteroids. Hidden gravity sensors in every major city. 5 minutes until self-destruct. "They're not just coming to change Earth," Han Su said, understanding at last. "They're ready to do it now. The fleet. It's not coming to stop us. It's coming to start their plan." Jin-A hit the control panel hard. "Why? Why do they care so much about Earth's gravity?" Rill touched the screen with one of its glowing tentacles. "Because Earth proves them wrong. Your world shows that life can be beautiful and strong in high gravity. That goes against everything they believe." 2 minutes until self-destruct. "The gravity wave changes are ready," Kite reported. "But we need to send them a message first. Let their fleet know what's coming." Han Su nodded and began recording. "To the Krell fleet approaching this vessel. We know your plans for Earth. We know you've been watching us. But you made a mistake. You thought Earth's gravity made us weak. Instead, it made us strong. 1 minute until self-destruct." Jin-A joined in. "We're not your specimens. We're not your test subjects. We're humans from Earth, and we're taking control." The message sent just as the final countdown began. Through the ship's windows, they could see the first ships of the Krell fleet appearing in the distance, their metal hulls shining in the starlight. 30 seconds until self-destruct. "Everyone hold on to something," Han Su called out. "This is going to be rough." 10 seconds. 9. 8. Keita looked at the approaching fleet. "I hope this works." 7. 6. 5. Jin-A gripped a support rail. "If it doesn't, Earth will know we tried." 4. 3. 2. Rill's glow turned bright blue. "It will work. It must." 1. Han Su pressed the final button. For Earth. The ship shuddered as the modified self-destruct sequence began. Instead of a massive explosion, waves of gravitational energy pulsed out in precise patterns. The waves rippled through space like rings in a pond, heading straight for the Krell fleet. And in that moment, as the gravity waves rushed toward their targets, every being on the ship held their breath, watching to see if their desperate plan would save not just themselves, but every high-gravity world in the galaxy. The gravity waves hit the Krell fleet like invisible tsunamis. On the main screen, Han Su and the others watched as the massive ships started to drift off course. Their engines flickered and died, killed by the carefully tuned gravity pulses. It worked, Kita shouted, checking the sensors. Their engines are dead. The gravity waves disrupted their power systems. But their celebration was cut short. A new voice came through the ship's speakers, speaking perfect Korean. A young woman's voice. "This is Nere of the Korean Quantum Computing Institute. I'm being held on the Krull command ship. If you can hear this, I have important information about their backup plans." Jin-A looked at Han Su, another human prisoner. "The signal's real," Kita confirmed, checking the computers. "It's coming from the largest ship in their fleet." Han Su opened a communication channel. "Nere, this is Dr. Han Su. We're on the collection vessel. How can we help?" "The Krell have a second fleet hidden behind Earth's moon." Nere's voice was quick and urgent. "They'd forced me to help them with their quantum computers. The gravity wave weapon won't work twice. They're already adapting their shields." Rill's blue skin pulsed with worry. "She's right. Look." The alien pointed to new sensor readings. "More Krull ships are appearing from behind your moon. Dozens of them." The screens filled with images of the second fleet. These ships were larger, their hulls covered in strange devices that seemed to bend light around them. "Those are gravity shield generators," Nere explained. "I helped design them. The Krell threatened to destroy Earth if I didn't." Her voice shook. "But I built a weakness into them, a backdoor. If we can send the right quantum signal, their whole defense network will collapse." Han Su turned to the alien engineers. "Can we modify our communication system to send quantum signals?" A new alien stepped forward. It looked like a walking crystal, its body reflecting light in complex patterns. "My people understand quantum communications. We can help." "I'm sending you the codes now," Nere said. "But there's a problem. Someone needs to get to the Krull command ship's main computer to upload the final key. Their quantum security is too strong to do it remotely." Jin-A checked their weapons. "How do we get to the command ship?" "Our engines are dead too. The gravity wave affected us, just like their fleet." "We can help with that," said another alien, this one looking like a cloud of purple gas contained in a clear suit. "Our bodies naturally produce lift in low gravity. We can push the ship." More aliens came forward, each offering their unique abilities. The crystal beings could focus light into cutting beams. The gas aliens could move through space safely. Rill's people could repair damaged systems quickly. "This is why the Krull collected us," Kite realized. "All these different beings, different skills. They thought they were proving their superiority, but they just brought together the alliance that will stop them." Han Su nodded. "Nere, we're coming to get you, but we'll need your help to coordinate everyone." "I'll be ready," she replied. "Hurry. The Krell are already starting to repair their ships." They made their plan quickly. The gas aliens would push their ship toward the command vessel. The crystal beings would cut through the hull. Jin-A would lead the fighting team, while Han Su and Kita worked with Nere to upload the quantum codes. "Time to show the Krell what Earth gravity really means," Jin-A said, helping to organize the different alien groups. As they prepared for their assault on the command ship, Han Su looked at the diverse group of beings working together, creatures from high-gravity worlds and low-gravity worlds, working as one team, each bringing their own strengths, their own skills. The Krell had wanted to make the galaxy uniform, to force every world to be like theirs. But they had proved themselves wrong. The true strength of the galaxy wasn't in making everything the same. It was in bringing different beings together, letting each contribute their unique abilities. Now that alliance was about to launch one final attack, racing against time to save not just Earth, but every world that dared to be different. The damaged collection ship moved through space like a wounded whale, pushed by dozens of gas aliens. Inside, Han Su watched as they approached the massive Krull command vessel. Its silver hull sparkled with energy from the gravity shields. 2 minutes until we're in range, Kita reported from his station. Jin-A checked her team one last time. The crystal beings had formed their bodies into sharp shapes, ready to cut through the Krull ship's hull. Ril and other engineers carried tools and computers for Nere's quantum codes. Remember, Han Su said to everyone, we only have one chance. The Krell are already starting to move again. The first shot came without warning. A beam of energy from one of the repaired Krell ships hit their vessel, making everything shake. Shields at 40%. Kita shouted. Keep going. Jin-A ordered the gas aliens. We're almost there. They reached the command ship's side. The crystal beings moved fast, their bodies glowing as they cut through the hull. Sparks flew in the vacuum of space as they made a hole big enough for the rescue team. Hull breach successful, Ril reported. But the Krell know we're here. Jin-A led the way into the command ship, Han Su and Kita right behind her. The gravity inside was set to Krell normal, making them even stronger than usual. They found Nere's location on a small computer device she had secretly sent them. Split up, Jin-A ordered. Engineering team with Han Su and Kita. Fighting team with me. We'll keep them busy while you upload the codes. They separated at a junction. Jin-A's team headed toward the sound of approaching Krell, while Han Su's group moved deeper into the ship. Ril's people worked quickly to override door controls and change internal sensors. They found Nere in a quantum computing lab. She was young but had fierce eyes, and her hands moved incredibly fast over the alien computers. About time, she said, not stopping her work. I've prepared everything. We just need to upload the final key from 3 different points in the ship. Han Su looked at the complex quantum calculations on her screen. You built all this while being their prisoner. Nere smiled grimly. They thought they were forcing me to help them. They didn't realize humans can be tricky too. Suddenly, the ship's lights turned red. A familiar musical voice spoke. Warning. Earth attack force detected. Beginning planetary gravity modification. No. Kita ran to a window. Far away, they could see blue energy beams shooting from the Krull fleet toward Earth. They're starting early. Then we start now, Nere said. She pressed several buttons, and her quantum code began uploading. Han Su, take the upper computer core. Kita, the lower. I'll handle this one. We have to activate all 3 within 10 seconds of each other. They ran to their positions, fighting against time. Through the ship's windows, they could see the energy beams getting stronger, starting to affect Earth's gravity field. Now, Nere's voice came through their communicators. Han Su and Kita entered their codes at the same moment. For a second, nothing happened. Then every screen on the ship lit up with pure white light. The gravity shields flickered and died. The energy beams shooting toward Earth stopped. It's done, Nere said. Their whole network is crashed. They can't control gravity fields anymore. Jin-A's voice came through their communicators. We've taken the bridge. The Krell are surrendering. They gathered on the command ship's bridge. Through the main window, they watched as Earth's gravity field returned to normal. The Krell fleet hung powerless in space. Send the message, Han Su said to Nere. She typed quickly, sending their proof of the Krell's plans to every spacefaring civilization they could reach. The galaxy will know what they tried to do. No one will let them change gravity fields ever again. As Earth's sun rose over the planet's edge, they all stood together, humans and aliens alike. They had stopped the Krell not just with strength, but with intelligence, cooperation, and courage. What happens now? Kita asked. Han Su looked at their unlikely group of allies. The gas beings, the crystal people, Ril's engineers, and so many others. Now we make sure this never happens again. Earth won't just be known as a high-gravity world anymore. Jin A nodded. It'll be known as the world that proved different isn't wrong. That diversity makes us stronger. And the humans, Nere added with a smile, are not to be underestimated. Outside, the stars shone steadily. Watching over a galaxy that was forever changed by the day, humans refused to let their world be remade.